Welcome back everyone, my name is Clyde and today I'm going to talk to you about my investing plan for 2026. So last year I said that I would go all in on micro strategy pretty much on this video, how I'm investing in 2024. And I did this using Trading 212 ISA so that I can benefit from the tax-free capital gains. So here's my portfolio. And that I would also implement debt to acquire more shares using 0% APR credit cards. And here's the video I was talking about, 0% APR credit cards. Well, it's been over a year now since I revealed my investing plans, and so I'm going to tell you what my new plan is for next year. Here's a video of me buying $672 worth of MSTR shares through interactive brokers. I decided now that I'm moving away from adding any more shares in my Trading 212 ISA because I realized that Trading 212 is very limiting. The things you can do with your shares there is as simple as buying and selling, and that's it. Now from the invest account, they do offer share lending, but doing that means you give up parts of your ownership only for people to short the stock, and I'm not willing to give up my ownership and have people shorting MSTR. I don't want none of that. Plus, when I click on it, there doesn't seem to be any demand, which is quite ironic since there's apparently a lot of demand for Neo stock, and look at that company. Oh my days, it's going to zero. People are literally shorting it to hell. I don't want any of that for MSTR, you're crazy. So that's pretty much what you can do with Trading 212. You buy the stock for the long term, and when you decided it appreciated high enough, you sell it. You give up the stock forever. If the stock continues to go up in price, you miss out. Since strategy is closely tied to Bitcoin, it moves like Bitcoin, and everyone I know who told me they bought Bitcoin and sold it for a profit have later regretted it. They say things like, "Oh, I shouldn't have sold those Bitcoins, I would have 10x my investments by now." Ever come across those people? But hey, I'll reassure you, it never hurts to take profits, right? So yeah, because MSTR is pretty much a Bitcoin proxy, I have zero intentions in selling my shares anytime soon because I know how early we are and that there's still more room for the upside. Not only do they hold the most Bitcoin in their balance sheet out of every public companies in the world, they are also targeting the fixed income market. The fixed income market is the bonds market. It's a $300 trillion market cap industry, the second biggest market cap in the world, right behind real estate. If you were told that a lot of companies is literally extracting billions of dollars out of the bonds market and shifting it into Bitcoin, then that's a company that's heading to $1 trillion valuation. Capture just 1% of the bond market, and MSTR is a $3 trillion market cap. It's not impossible. Before they adopted a Bitcoin standard, the company went from $1 billion in 2020 to over $100 billion market cap in just 4 years. One of the fastest companies to grow this fast in such a short amount of time. If you compare MSTR with other companies around the same market cap, you'll find that everyone is making billions of dollars in revenue. But strategy themselves aren't even making $500 million in a year, yet their market cap is exponentially high. Why? It's because their balance sheet is heavily tied to Bitcoin. Anyways, why am I shifting away from Trading 212 ISA and focusing on growing a new portfolio with interactive brokers? It's because with interactive brokers, I'll be able to borrow against my own shares. This is called margin loans. I want to be able to take profits out from my portfolio without selling my shares. You can't do that with trading 212, and that's one of the biggest disadvantage for that platform. Trading 212 is really for beginners. It's user friendly and they have low fees every time you buy shares, but you can't do anything with those shares besides selling them and moving on. With interactive brokers, I can borrow against my shares, acquire money from that without selling MSTR and without triggering any taxable event. What's borrowing against your own shares or margin loans? It's simple. Imagine you invested £50,000 in MSTR and it doubles to £100,000. That's 100% return on investment. Instead of selling 20% of your portfolio, which is £20,000, you borrow £20,000 against your holdings, which means you still get to keep 100% of your MSTR shares. You didn't sell any shares, which means there is no taxable event, plus you benefit if MSTR keeps going up in price. It's a smart way to get cash without selling your investment. You hold your position and unlock liquidity. This is exactly how the rich funds their lifestyle. Elon Musk does this with his Tesla stock. He doesn't sell them, he just borrows against his own shares. Same goes with Jeff Bezos with Amazon and Mark Zuckerberg with Meta, and the list goes on. When they're up so much with their unrealized profits, they can use margin loans to acquire money without having to sell their shares or pay taxes. And as long as their shares keeps going up in price, they can keep borrowing against their own shares. For example, if you borrow 20% from your MicroStrategy shares, then MicroStrategy goes up 20% later on, your portfolio is now back to its original value. It's like you never withdrew anything, right? You've just replenished the amount you borrowed. It's as if you never took money out of the stock. Your portfolio value is right back to where it was because the price appreciated. This is how the rich access cash without selling, paying taxes, or losing on the upside. This is powerful, guys, far more powerful than trading 212's simple buy and hold in an ISA strategy. It's fine to buy and hold for the long term, especially if you're starting out, but if you want to actually fund your lifestyle forever, using margin loans is really the way to go. They call this buy, borrow, die. You buy the stock, you borrow against it, then you die without having to pay off your debts. So in a way, you can see margin loans as a pension fund. MSTR is your pension fund once you start using margin loans on it, and you can't do this with trading 212. Based on my research, the best platform to do this on is Interactive Brokers, IBKR. This is why I'm starting this new portfolio and building it up with Interactive Brokers. I want to be able to borrow against MSTR, a company that has a lot of upside potential thanks to its strong ties to Bitcoin. And we know that Bitcoin is the greatest asset the world has ever seen. Far greater than corrupted, rehypothecated gold, far greater than tax to infinity real estate, and far greater than heavily tied to proof of war equities like Microsoft, Apple, and Nvidia, or generally the S&P index. Any assets tied to fiat currencies is destined to lose. Not only do they have to compete with each other in the same industry, they also have to combat inflation, which is the devaluation of fiat currencies, the very same currency a lot of these companies save in. Save in Bitcoin and you won't ever have to worry about inflation. Build your business around Bitcoin and everyone who you think are your competitors will contribute to building your wealth. Everyone who invests in Bitcoin wins. And that's it, guys. My plan is simple. build up my portfolio with interactive brokers so that one day when I'm up 100%, I will borrow against my MSTR shares. I will still keep my portfolio with Trading 212 ISA simply because it's quite rare to see an average buy price of $178 US. I could be proud in the future to say I was early AF. If you learned something of value, I'd appreciate you leave a like and subscribe to my channel for more videos like this.